Talk to me. If it's not that storks bring babies, why is there a correlation between the birth rate in all these different European cities and the number of storks that are there? It's a real correlation. The more storks, the higher the birth rate. The less storks, the lower the birth rate. Why would that be if it's not that storks are bringing babies? Huh, I like it. I don't know that I've heard that before. So you're saying maybe the storks are in zoos. And those stork breeding pairs that are being counted, even though they're not telling you, those are zoo storks. Cities with more money have more zoos. Cities with more money have more babies. That's a C explanation, right? A doesn't cause B. There's a C that's causing both A and B. Awesome. Good answer. What do you got? Uh-huh. So that, though, that's using two different explanations. You're saying one thing's causing the birth rate, another thing's causing the storks. That doesn't correlate the two. You got to find something that explains the link. What do you got? Interesting. So you think C is the climate, that where it's warmer, people have more babies, and where it's warmer, storks like to be. Great. Love it. Okay. It's always a boy that comes up with this explanation. So what he's saying is that it's not that the storks are bringing the babies, but it is that the storks are inspiring the babies. He's saying people see storks and they think, "Aw, storks, babies, honey, let's have a baby." Right? That's not crazy. It's funny, but it's not totally crazy. It's biologically plausible. Absolutely. What else? There's more. I know there's more. These are great explanations. Tyler, you had one, didn't you? There's two different boys came up with that answer. Yeah.
Like throughout history, cities usually popped up during where water was. And the storks generally lived near water, and so there were bigger cities near the water, and there was more storks near the water, and the bigger cities.
I think that might actually be part of the real answer. I think you might be right. That European, especially old cities, it's not always as true in newer cities, but old cities were always on water, right? They're always built on a waterway. That's for transportation reasons, right? That was a good way to travel at a certain point. It's still a good way to move, factory goods. Storks are water birds. They're waders, right? And so if big city translates to high birth rate, then it makes perfect sense that places where there's high birth rates are going to be places where there's water. Awesome. Anything else you can think of? You've hit everything I can think of but one. And mine was, what if storks are kind of like squirrels and pigeons and rats, in that they live very well off of the kind of waste of cities, right? That's why they call pigeons rats with wings sometimes, right? Because they live off the stuff we throw away really well. And maybe that's the case with storks too, that they are around the bigger cities, which have the higher birth rates because of that. Just thought. Good job. Now, that was the easy one. The tougher one, the one you're going to have a hard time with, I think, if last period's any indication. Watch out for this. What you're going to want to do is give me separate explanations as to why people might be overweight. And you're right. There are lots of different reasons besides newspaper recipes that people are overweight in these cities. What I'm telling you is there is a correlation between The more high-calorie dessert recipes there are in that city's newspaper, the heavier the people are. The less high-calorie dessert recipes there are in those cities, the less overweight the people are. Why would that link be there? Besides that it's the recipes making the people fat. Give me an alternative explanation. Can you do it, Tyler?
You know how certain cities have like specialty desserts that they want for?
Absolutely.
For instance, like Boston or something like that. I don't know if they have a specialty dessert.
Boston cream pie, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, cities are pretty close together. It doesn't take too much to go down the street and get some dessert or something. I mean, if you're obese, it's probably easy a fair amount. So they can perhaps call on advertising.
What you're not doing yet is taking the paper into account, right? Why is it that the paper recipes are correlating with the obesity? You're right that all those things can make people overweight, but why is the link there?
If they see it in the newspaper, they have like DoorDash and things like that, and they can get it delivered.
You're just supporting what I said. You're saying if they see it in the paper, they're going to get it, they're going to eat it, they're going to get overweight. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the dessert recipes are what's making people fat. What do you got besides that?
When they're looking through the newspaper, they're going to probably see those delicious looking things. Probably the thing with the highest amount of calories. So they're going to go out and try and either make it or.
It's exactly what he said. You're agreeing with me. I want you to disagree with me and tell me there's a different explanation.
I think that the higher cities have more people to put more dessert ads in the newspaper. Because of that, the only real people that be reading the newspaper are old people that have low metabolism.
Okay.
So then they read the ad, and then they want to eat it, and so they have their wife or whatever, they go and make it.
Okay. But still, I feel like you're still saying it's the recipe's fault.
Nobody really buys newspapers anymore, so the newspapers are probably like, okay, we need to put some more like eye-catching or things. So they're gonna put like really good recipes in there so that the more people hear about them and it gets more popular, people find it in the newspaper.
Yeah. Okay, how does that explain the obesity?
The more people buy the newspapers and copy the recipes, the more they can.
You're agreeing with everybody who's talked and saying it's the recipe's fault. You got it. Go on. You were almost there. She said she started with the people who read the newspaper are already obese, which leads to something else.
They get their friends to try it, and they become obese.
Nope.
So the people in the city are already obese.
Yes.
Eating a lot of the certain things.
Yes.
The
What if, and so instead of proposing a C that's causing both A and B, what he just did was say it's not A causing B, it's B causing A. The people are already obese in that city, and the newspaper, well, they know their audience. They know that is what the people want, and they're going to give the people what they want, right? They're going to say, these people do not want a recipe for tofu stir fry. These people want gut bombs, right? These people want like pound cake and killer brownies, and so that's what we're going to put in there so that we sell more papers. Absolutely. Good. I think that's probably the most likely explanation. You could also say maybe that maybe it's the overweight people who are working at the newspaper. If it's that high in the city, what are the odds that maybe some of the people working at the paper like those kind of desserts, and that's what they're going to put in there? Yeah. That's a tough one. I understand that it was hard, but you got there eventually. Nice work. Okay. Do you remember talking about observation earlier? What we're going to do right now is I'm going to kind of go around the room and make some observations. And I want you to stop me when I stop making observations. In other words, when I start making inferences. Ready? Mikey has a plaid shirt on. Hal is not here today. Emily's got blonde hair. Grant's a football player. Stop? Why? He's a football player. It's not a day when they give their jerseys to anybody else. I don't think Grant beat some kid up and took his football uniform. You think Grant's that mean? You're absolutely right. Yes, you caught the inference. Am I right? Are you a football player? But that doesn't matter. It was an inference, right? I was taking what I knew, which is that it's Friday. That's a football jersey. It's not one of those days when you give your jerseys to other people to wear for you. And I'm pretty confident I'm right, but that's still an inference, right? I'm still basing it on. So let's just quick define these, and then we'll move on. Observation is what you gather directly from your senses. Yep, notes. It's like 2 definitions, and then we're done. Easy day. Directly from your senses. That's where observations come from. What's the sense you depend on most heavily, typically? Yeah, our eyesight. Very much our favorite. Seeing is believing. But, hearing is probably second place, and we use them all. Other organisms use different senses more heavily. Dogs are definitely smellers, right? You ever see a dog hang its head out the window? You know why they do that? It's like odor overload. They love smelling different things, and so they hang their head out the window because they get more things to smell. They like it. So you got to be careful in science that you're not confusing observation and inference, because inference, as soon as you're in inference, inferences are great, like we depend on those, and we do them all the time in science, but we have to be careful that we call out that is just an inference. You get the difference? Awesome.